1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show.
That is, open-minded,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We look at things. But, unless somebody can say for sure, this is how, and the carbon dating, and you can say to me, there's a real substance to the measurement, the basis of the measurement, then I would say, okay, well, I would start to look into it. But unless that happens, I still see everything as a kind of, somebody saying something based on nothing really.
No, you're right. I mean, we're very reliant on the scientists who tell us these various things. I mean, with dinosaurs particularly, there is lots of fossil evidence from around the world, and footprints and so on. I've seen photographs of those in books and things. And as you say, they're dating those, I think, from a variety of factors. I mean, for example, on the coast, on the south of England, the Jurassic coast is where there's lots and lots of dinosaur evidence and fossils and things like that. And if you look at the side of a cliff like there, or many other places, you can see the various layers of the cliff, the stone or whatever, the rock, and they are able, it seems, we're told, to date those layers. So I think there is some evidence of reliability on what they say. We can't be 100%, obviously, but I mean, if interestingly, they can predict, for example, when a comet or an asteroid will actually be visible in the sky that's not been around our parts of the solar system for thousands of years. Now, they can predict that, and in the same way they predict a lunar eclipse or whatever, those sort of areas, it does show that they're pretty good at prediction about when things happen. Ultimately, we don't know, but in another way, I mean, we know dinosaurs existed. They found virtually complete skeletons and so on. And you might say, well, does it matter, given the length of time we're talking about, does it really matter whether they were around 230 million years ago or 200 million years ago? What we know is, again, we take in good faith that the Earth is 4.6 billion years old, which is sort of mind-blowing. So that life on this planet, now the planet teems with life, this incredible jewel in space, it teems with life. There are so many millions of species and many as yet undiscovered and probably will never be discovered. So this is a magical ball of jewelry in space, in the universe, and we're so blessed, as I probably said before, to be part of that, to have this incredible life. I won't go into another subject except to say I was reading yesterday, there's a professor fellow down at the University of Portsmouth, and he's researching, and has been for quite a while now. I think he put out a paper 2023 whereby he actually is suggesting that the dark matter in the universe, which they know is there, they don't quite know what it is, could simply be information. Now, what he's working on the theory of is that we are really part of some computer simulation. Now, that doesn't mean to say there's some bloke or some woman somewhere controlling us, but what he's saying is nature is so precise, it loves symmetry. I mean, for example, take a snowflake. The symmetry of a snowflake, you see one under a microscope, it's incredible. Nature's so beautiful. And if we take the human face, okay, we're told by scientists no two faces are exactly the same, even twins, identical twins. But the symmetry of our faces is, again, nature wanting things to be in a good, ordered way. And I think that's where this chap at Portsmouth is coming from. He's saying it's so ordered that nature loves information, and it may be that information is actually a tangible thing in the universe. And I like Elon Musk, I do. I think he's a great innovator, but apparently he's a fan of this of this paper that this man has put out. And there are other branches now of science who are coming to not dissimilar conclusions that maybe this is some sort of nature's game. Things are not as random as we think, that there's a precision about it. Now, that is a whole new subject, of course, and one that
The leader of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything casters. And fund the aim of everything casters.
are coming to not dissimilar conclusions that maybe this is some sort of nature's game. Things are not as random as we think, that there's a precision about it. Now, that is a whole new subject, of course, and one that to get into you need a lot of study. But yeah, I think as you rightly said, we have to keep an open mind, and I don't care if they say it's 200 million years ago or 1,000 years ago. It's what we're trying to aim at to find out, and humans have this great thirst for knowledge and to find out more about where we are, why we're here, sort of thing. So yeah, I take your point. We rely on people to carbon dates and other methods, but ultimately we don't know, do we?
No, we don't, because when I looked at the whole thing, because all right, so for instance, you could have a piece of meat somewhere, and you could cover it up and give it days. You'll find that there are microorganisms on it, probably feeding on it or doing whatever process they do to it. But then I don't think you'll be able to tell how long that piece of meat has been there down to the precise minute or second.
No,
you'll be able to
no.
guess days and say, well, from the look of it, it's probably been there for 3 days or 4 days or whatever, but I don't think you'll be able to tell it down to the minute or the precise second. And that's how the universe is, because the universe is measured in light years, right? So it'll be very, very hard for whatever scientific method they're using to be then able to get it precisely down to even the century. I don't think so. I don't think so, because there are areas, some areas in the world or some parts of the world, they all have different climates, don't they? So, for instance, what you'd see in this part of the world might be partly preserved because we have a lot of cold weather. So in the cold weather, we know could preserve things, or what you could see in the Arctic, for instance, would be a little bit more preserved than what you would see in the Sahara desert, for instance, where we have intense heat, and we know what intense heat does. So it varies, don't it? It sort of varies. You can't really say to the precise day or century. I think you can say maybe 10, maybe you might be 1,000,000 or 200 years out, which is equivalent to the human millisecond or seconds or even minutes. Yeah, so that's the way that I look at it anyway. I might be wrong, like I said, but it's something that I, as humans, we're not perfect, are we? So we're bound to not get it precisely right, or not get it entirely right.
No, that's right. I mean, we do believe, or I'll ask you, do you believe what they say, that we're 93 million miles from the sun and that it takes the light 8 minutes to get to us?
I do believe that. Yes.
You do?
I do.
And
yes.
We know when they've sent people to the moon, they have to be working in minute, precise figures to get the landing, all the rest of it. And yet, and they do it. Their predictions of these things do tend to come out correctly, don't they?
Absolutely.
So that's another reason we might. I mean, let's face it. With Einstein, the theory of relativity, they couldn't really prove that at the time. But as time has gone on, so many of his predictions have been shown to be absolutely right. So I think, yeah, you're right. We can't ultimately say the information we're given about timings, etc., are right. I agree with you.
Yeah. Right. So this is all we've got time for. It's a really interesting topic that you brought out, bro. I really enjoy it. I love things like this where, you know, you get to sort of dig into the unknown, really.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Absolutely. So do you want to do the conclusion this time?
Yes, indeed. I hope people listening to that found it reasonably interesting. There's lots of stuff there that we can all go on and discuss in the future. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I've been Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
And I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cos. No, he calls me bruv. I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me bruv. Join us again, same time next week for another interesting episode and topic on the show. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Yeah. So let's do
of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything